Imagine a world where the skies over Europe are patrolled by fighter jets bearing the maple leaf emblem, crafted not in the heart of America or Scandinavia, but in the industrial hubs of Ontario. What if a country long seen as a reliable ally suddenly steps out of the shadows to redefine its role in global defense? This isn't a distant dream. It's a possibility that's closer than you think, and the ripple effects could reshape alliances forever. Good evening.
I'm here at the Skyjet Wings, bringing you in-depth analysis on the stories that matter most to our global security and international relations. Tonight, we delve into a provocative hypothetical that's sparking quiet discussions in defense circles around the world. As always, we aim to provide clear, balanced insights into complex issues, drawing from reliable sources and expert perspectives. Before we start, wherever you're watching or listening from, drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe to the channel. Today, we'll continue this conversation in the comments and respond to your questions.
Now, let's turn our attention to a development that could fundamentally alter the landscape of military aviation and international partnerships. For years, Canada has positioned itself as a steadfast member of NATO, contributing to collective defense efforts while often relying on equipment sourced from its southern neighbor, the United States. This dependence has been a cornerstone of North American security strategy, ensuring interoperability and shared technological standards. However, recent escalations in global tensions, from ongoing conflicts in Eastern Europe to rising concerns in the Indo-Pacific, have prompted nations worldwide to reassess their defense postures. In this context, a bold alternative path for Canada emerges, one that challenges long-standing assumptions about who leads in fighter jet production and procurement. To set the stage, consider the historical backdrop. Canada has a rich but turbulent history in aerospace innovation. Back in the mid-20th century, the nation was at the forefront with projects like the Avro Aero, a supersonic interceptor that promised to push the boundaries of aviation technology. Developed during the Cold War era, the Aero represented Canadian ingenuity and ambition, featuring advanced delta wing design and powerful engines capable of Mach 2 speeds. Yet, in 1959, the program was abruptly canceled amid political pressures, budget concerns, and alleged interference from U.S. interests, leading to the destruction of prototypes and the dispersal of engineering talent southward. This event marked a turning point, shifting Canada away from independent military aircraft manufacturing toward a role as a supplier of components and a purchaser of foreign systems. Fast forward to today, and echoes of that lost potential resurface in contemporary debates. In recent months, scrutiny has intensified around Canada's commitment to the F-35 Lightning II program, a fifth-generation stealth fighter developed by Lockheed Martin under U.S. leadership. Official reports, including those from Canada's Auditor General, released in mid-2025, highlight significant cost overruns. Initially projected at around 19 billion Canadian dollars for 88 aircraft, the total has ballooned to 27.7 billion, with projections suggesting it could climb as high as 33 billion once additional infrastructure, training, and sustainment costs are factored in. These figures aren't mere accounting notes. They represent a substantial portion of Canada's defense budget, which has been under pressure to meet NATO's 2% GDP spending target amid domestic economic challenges like inflation and regional disparities. But the issues extend beyond finances. Defense analysts point to a deeper dilemma: escalating expenditures without commensurate control. The F-35's global supply chain is intricate and US-centric, involving thousands of suppliers across multiple countries, but ultimately orchestrated by Lockheed Martin and subject to American export regulations. Software updates, critical for maintaining the jet's edge in electronic warfare and sensor fusion, require approval from US authorities. Maintenance protocols are standardized under Pentagon guidelines, limiting flexibility for operators. This setup ensures seamless integration within NATO forces, but also creates vulnerabilities.
Supply disruptions, geopolitical frictions, or even unilateral decisions from Washington could impact readiness.
It's against this backdrop that a hypothetical yet increasingly plausible scenario takes form. Suppose a cadre of forward-thinking policymakers in Ottawa poses a fundamental query. With such vast sums at stake, why not redirect investments towards assets where Canada holds the reins? Why construct facilities solely for foreign designs when domestic capabilities could be revived? This line of thinking leads to an audacious proposal, pivoting from the F-35 to a partnership with Sweden's Saab for the production of the Gripen E jet, not through mere importation or kit assembly, but via comprehensive technology transfer and local manufacturing.
Let's unpack what this entails. The Gripen E, an advanced multi-role fighter, boasts capabilities in air-to-air combat, ground attack, and reconnaissance, with a focus on affordability and adaptability. Unlike the F-35's stealth emphasis, the Gripen prioritizes agility, low operating costs, and ease of maintenance, qualities that align well with Canada's vast geography and Arctic operations. In this envisioned deal, Canada wouldn't just license production, it would gain access to proprietary knowledge spanning engine architecture, avionics integration, and material science for composite structures. This transfer would revive echoes of the era, empowering Canadian firms to innovate independently. International observers might hail this as a landmark agreement. For Sweden, it secures a transatlantic foothold, diversifying production beyond Europe and mitigating risks from regional instabilities. For Canada, it signals a renaissance in military aviation, reclaiming expertise lost decades ago. Key players like Bombardier, renowned for its commercial aircraft and rail systems, and CAE, a global leader in simulation and training technologies, would transition from peripheral roles to central architects in defense production. This shift could foster a symbiotic relationship, blending Swedish precision with Canadian resourcefulness.
Yet the true game changer lies in the export provisions. In this scenario, the contract includes rights for Canada to market and sell Gripen variants to fellow NATO members. This clause elevates Canada from consumer to producer-exporter, a status it hasn't held in fighter jets since the post-World War II period. Imagine assembly lines in Ontario churning out aircraft destined for Eastern European air forces, complete with Canadian stamps of approval. This isn't just industrial expansion, it's a strategic pivot that could redistribute influence within the alliance. To appreciate the full implications, we must explore the concept of sovereign sustainment in defense parliament. This means owning the life cycle of military hardware, from initial fabrication to ongoing upgrades and repairs without external dependencies. For the Gripen, this model is feasible due to its modular design philosophy. Factories in places like Toronto or Ottawa could host joint teams, Canadian technicians mastering composite molding techniques alongside Saab engineers fine-tuning aerodynamic profiles. Engines might draw from collaborations with British firms like Rolls-Royce, offering negotiation leverage absent in US-dominated programs. A pivotal element is the radar and electronic systems. The Gripen's AESA, Active Electronically Scanned Array radar, provides superior detection and jamming resistance, customizable in facilities like those in Montreal. CAE's expertise in simulation could extend to developing virtual environments for pilot training tailored to Canadian needs, such as operations in sub-zero temperatures or over remote terrains. Crucially, the aircraft's software architecture is open source, contrasting the F-35's proprietary black box approach. This openness allows modifications for specific missions, say enhancing sensor suites for maritime surveillance in the Arctic, without awaiting foreign clearances.
Of course, theory and practice diverge. Implementing this would demand overcoming substantial hurdles. Logistically, establishing a production ecosystem requires not only capital, but also skilled labor. Estimates from economic think tanks suggest that a full Gripen line could generate between 15,000 and 20,000 high-skilled positions spanning aerospace engineering, precision welding, and cybersecurity for defense systems.
Bombardier's heritage in building earlier fighters like the CF-100 Kukuk could be leveraged, marking a triumphant return to military roots after decades focused on civilian markets. CAE, already a powerhouse in flight simulators used by militaries worldwide, would gain parity in partnerships, contributing to avionics and mission planning software. Even Pratt & Whitney Canada, a subsidiary specializing in turboprop engines for commercial jets, might diversify into military variants, adapting technologies for combat applications. However, the supply chain poses a formidable challenge. Sourcing materials like high-strength alloys, specialized semiconductors, and carbon fibers necessitates upgrading hundreds of domestic suppliers to meet stringent NATO quality standards. This upgrade process could involve certifications, training programs, and investments in precision manufacturing tools, ultimately birthing a robust, self-reliant defense industrial base. Beyond jobs and infrastructure, this scenario embodies technological sovereignty, a nation's ability to control its critical technologies without undue foreign influence. In an era of hybrid warfare and supply chain disruptions, as seen in recent global events like the chip shortages post-2020 pandemic or sanctions related to conflicts, sovereignty equates to resilience. Canada, with its abundant natural resources and educated workforce, is well positioned to achieve this, potentially setting a precedent for other middle powers. Shifting focus to the broader NATO implications. If Canada masters Gripen production, it could attract buyers seeking alternatives to the F-35's high costs and complexities. Consider three categories of potential customers. First, budget-conscious Eastern European states, such as Poland and Romania, which are bolstering defenses amid threats from aggressive neighbors. Public defense budgets reveal that the Gripens' hourly operating cost hovers around $8,000, starkly lower than the F-35's $35,000 to $47,000 range. For these nations, a Canadian-built option offers affordability without sacrificing capability, enabling larger fleets and sustained readiness. Second, Nordic countries emphasizing autonomy. Finland, a recent NATO entrant, has historically balanced European ties with independent procurement, as evidenced by its Hornet fleet. A Canadian partnership could provide geographic diversity, reducing reliance on continental suppliers vulnerable to land-based disruptions. Sweden itself, as the originator, might collaborate on joint upgrades, fostering a transatlantic Nordic-North American axis. Third, and perhaps most disruptively, legacy operators of older platforms, like the F-16 Viper, found in nations from Belgium to Turkey. These countries face modernization pressures, but balk at the F-35's life cycle commitments. A Gripen alternative produced in Canada could offer a bridge, advanced enough for current threats, yet flexible for future integrations without entangling them in extensive U.S. oversight. This prospect thrusts Canada into an uncharted role, a Gripen exporter of advanced weaponry, historically viewed as a proponent of peacekeeping and multilateralism, epitomized by its contributions to UN missions and disarmament initiatives. Canada would confront a paradigm shift. Exporting fighter jets implies establishing robust arms control frameworks, including end-user certificates to prevent diversion and diplomatic negotiations for technology safeguards. Politically, Ottawa would assume accountability for the jet's use in conflicts, navigating ethical dilemmas akin to those faced by major exporters like the US or France. Economically, the rewards are tantalizing. Projections from industry consultants indicate that exporting 200 Gripens over 20 years could yield 25 to 30 billion Canadian dollars in revenue, bolstering GDP through multipliers in related sectors like logistics and R&D. This influx would retain STEM talent domestically, countering the brain drain to Silicon Valley or Seattle, and stimulate innovation hubs in provinces like Quebec and Ontario. Long-term contracts ensure stability, unlike volatile commodity markets for oil or timber. However, geopolitics introduces tension. Washington's reaction could be multifaceted. Lockheed Martin, stung by the loss of a multi-billion-dollar deal, might intensify lobbying efforts, emphasizing risks to alliance cohesion. Arguments could center on interoperability.
ensuring that Gripen-equipped forces seamlessly communicate with F-35 squadrons via shared data links and identification protocols. The Pentagon, guardian of NATO's technological backbone since the alliance's inception in 1949, might view this as a dilution of U.S. primacy, potentially complicating joint operations. Conversely, some U.S. strategists could endorse it subtly, with priorities shifting toward Asia-Pacific challenges, including naval buildups and cyber defenses against potential adversaries. Alleviating European defense burdens allows resource allocation. Canada stepping up could exemplify burden sharing, a perennial U.S. demand at NATO summits.
Over the longer term, this transformation could redefine Canada's national identity. From a middle power focused on diplomacy, think Lester Pearson's Nobel Peacekeeping, to a proactive player in hard power. Trade dynamics with the U.S. might evolve. Instead of a deficit in defense imports, Canada could achieve balance or surplus, negotiating from strength in forums like NORAD or USMCA. Expansion to non-NATO markets such as Australia, with its similar vast territories, or Singapore seeking diversified suppliers, could broaden horizons, while Gulf states diversify away from traditional vendors. Yet risks abound. Ethical considerations loom. Criteria for sales, human rights vetting, and post-sale monitoring.
If a Canadian Gripen engages in a controversial operation, public backlash could ensue, echoing debates over Saudi arms deals. Sustaining the industry demands ongoing investment, billions in R&D for next-gen features like AI integration or hypersonic capabilities. Dependence on Sweden for core innovations might persist, underscoring that true independence requires cultivating domestic R&D ecosystems, perhaps through university partnerships or government grants. In wrapping this exploration, while purely speculative, this scenario illuminates pressing realities. It challenges assumptions about technological hierarchies in the 21st century.
Demonstrating that determination can enable smaller nations to assert autonomy. The core inquiry isn't feasibility. Canada possesses the industrial base and alliances, but willingness to embrace the multifaceted costs, political realignments, economic commitments, and moral reckonings. As we conclude, remember this discussion draws from open-source analyses and expert commentaries intended to provoke thoughtful dialogue on defense futures. Thank you for joining us at the Skyjet Wings. If these ideas resonate, engage below. We value your perspectives. This presentation is entirely hypothetical and does not represent any official positions or intentions of governments, companies, or entities involved. All insights stem from publicly accessible information for educational purposes.